Hello everyone. Today we're going to be looking at the Indian Scout versus the Harley-Davidson Heritage Classic Softail. Now we rented this Indian Scout from All Terrain Motorsports here in Grand Junction, and we've spent a couple of hours riding it already, and it's a big difference. I can tell you right away that the Indian Scout is probably the best beginner's bike that you could get that's both a little cruiser, a little sporty, but within that 500 pound range. Now, the Heritage Classic is about 700 pounds and you could actually feel it. And that's the biggest difference right away when you get on these is the weight. I'm talking about night and day. So one of the things I noticed about riding this bike, first off, versus the Harley, is that there really isn't any vibration. And I kind of like that. Like, it's real smooth. I love my Harley. It's very, grumbly, thumpy. It's real wild. But sometimes I get off the bike, and even though I'm not holding on to the handle grips very hard, my hands are tingling from the vibration. But that's kind of like the classic signature aspect or characteristic about the Harley is that vibration, is that rumble and that thunder. Now, one of the things I did like about this is not only the weight, but how nimble it is. You could definitely tell the difference on the bikes of how heavy and how nimble it is. Even riding it within the first 20 minutes, I felt very comfortable about taking turns at a certain speed, a certain angle, and I really like that. But everything starts changing when you start gaining some speed. Now, this doesn't have a windscreen, so that's going to have a big impact. But I can tell you already, above 60 miles per hour, this isn't bad. But because of the weight, because of the design, the windscreen and everything, of course, this front fender and everything, I don't think, this has a fender on it as well. But I feel like this fender covers most of the front wheel versus this one. You feel a lot more confident, stable, just more planted with the Harley above speed. And it makes sense, you have more weight. Now, the Indian Scout has a lower center of gravity, which is nice because it accommodates a lot of different heights for riders. But it really isn't a fair comparison because this doesn't have windscreen. But at the end of the day, I could definitely tell the difference at higher speeds. Like, I feel like I'd really enjoy this at higher speeds. But around town, this was so nimble. This one's so agile. And it's pretty quick. This isn't the 60. This is the regular Indian Scout. And to be honest with you, like, after riding this, I wouldn't want a 60 because, I've got this 114 motor here, and this is enough power. Like, I wouldn't want any less power, and any more power, I feel like it would be fun, but I wouldn't want any less power. Like, this is, and it's one of those things, like, it's not like, oh, I need a lot of power. It just fits the bike a lot better. The throttle, the acceleration is real nice. The gears are real nice. The brakes, big difference in the brakes. The Harley feels a lot better braking, a lot more confident, a lot more stable. I did some trail braking. I did some front brake action. I did dual brake action on both of them. And this has decent brakes, but you could definitely tell that they're not super high caliber brakes. You have to put a little bit more force to make the stop, which makes a lot more sense. This feels like the brakes are very well balanced with the bike, the weight, the power, and everything. I think the brakes are matched well with this bike. I feel like if they added a little bit more better brakes, I feel it would match how agile the bike is. Now, if you think about it, when a bike is less weight, has a decent amount of power, you're going to do a lot of crazy speed sometimes. You're going to do a lot of crazy turns. So having an overkill on brakes with bikes like this is actually the best upgrade and the perfect complement to the bike itself. Very different bikes. Like, if I wanted to go get a beer with my friend in downtown, if I wanted to ride through everything, I'd be happy to take both. And this one's very agile. I feel like this is a crazy great city bike, and it's light. And I'm not going to lie, one of the things that sucks about my Harley is when I stop at a stoplight and I put my legs down, I can sometimes feel my knee, and that's not good because it's so heavy. I didn't have any of that problem. I could stop, get up, and do everything with this one because it's just so light. But definitely this one is kind of more, it's not a road glide or street glide where it has all the attributes for long distance, but it definitely is one of those bikes that I think is geared a little bit more for both city and for highway and for a little bit more longer distance than the Scout. But again, with the fairing, I think it would help. But I think that extra weight does help on the highway, and it does make you feel a little bit more confident. But I would be lying if I didn't really tell you what was in my head when I was riding the Scout. I was impressed because I was so happy and the bike was so light and so nimble and so powerful and so smooth that I was both excited and a little bit like, it was a reminder that I just spent, over 25 grand on a Harley, which I do like, but this Scout right here is in the, 15 to 20 range. And I think the 20 range, I think right now the top of the line ones sell for like 18 and they have everything. They're an incredible bike. The value is incredible. And it made me realize that Indian bikes are epic. And I really like this one. Elise really liked it. She enjoyed riding it. She loved it. She had a great time. She rode it with no issues. And that's something that is really important because she's ridden a lot of bikes and they just didn't really match her well. But this was such a fun bike for both of us. And Elise is still in the beginner stage. I've ridden a little bit more than her, but it was really cool to see her enjoy this bike as much as I did. So this Indian Scout was a total win.